Family therapist Jane Marks joining us this morning. Good morning, Jane. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Clear roads on the way here, so it was wonderful getting here. Easy.
Good, good, good. Well, the big question that you received is, I have two teenage girls, both diagnosed with attention deficit disorder and starting high school. Test taking for them has always been difficult. Are there some time-honored test-taking tips that have been given to teenagers over your years of experience that struggle with focus issues?
You know, absolutely, and this mom has her hands full. But for young people who struggle with focus, it is important that they navigate this process as easily as possible. Most often, some schools will provide students with test-taking tips for different kinds of tests, including multiple choice, whether or not they're going to use bubbles or scantrons, and so parents need to be aware, and the way that they handle this can make a difference. So the first thing is that we tell parents at the beginning of the year, try and establish a routine for your teens with regards to preparation. Preparation is the key. If there is a schedule and routine, mentally this prepares them for the task ahead. As a general rule, teach organizational skills if you can. If you're not able to, parents is smart, especially in a case like this, hire a homework coach. Now, if in fact encourage your teens, rather, to space out study and homework assignments so they won't be forced to cram the night before. Cramming is very ineffective. It causes stress and can interfere with a good night's sleep and will impact on test-taking strategies. Keep a positive attitude. Try not to let your anxiety, parents, dictate your coaching style. Create the best environment for studying. Most teens prefer a quiet area. However, teens with focus issues sometimes need a background noise, so be cognizant of their style. Teens, you arrive early for all tests. Listen to and read directions carefully. Read directions twice. Sometimes the directions are more complicated than they appear. Make sure that the last-minute changes have not been announced. Oftentimes we miss because of lack of attention to directions. Take a minute to budget your time. Spend more time on questions that are worth more points. Do not spend time on any one question before you've gone all the way through the test. Do a quick mind dump, students. If there is information that you have in your head that you don't want to forget, write it down on a piece of scrap paper on the margin. You can retrieve it later. Now, when it comes to answering the easy questions first, that's important. Look for clue words such as name, outline, define, explain, describe, discuss. Think long and hard about changing your answers. Often your first instinct is correct. Only change them if you know they're wrong. If there's not a penalty, always guess. Mark up your test, place a star next to questions you aren't sure of and an X on the questions that you're not quite clear about. Mark out answers that use absolute words. Never, always, only, none. True, false questions. They're usually false. Always look for clues in the questions. Root words are also found in the answer. Resist the urge to hand in your test once the last item is completed. If time allows, start at the beginning and check each item to make sure you have answered each question. Finally, keep an eye on the clock. Make sure you have enough time to complete all the sections. Hopefully some of these strategies will make a big difference in developing a good strategy plan for the year. These are fairly effective.
I know. I wish I had had these tips when I was test taking growing up. These are some good tips.
Absolutely. And what we want for all our students this year is that review what has worked and keep using it.
Absolutely. And of course, the internet's always a great way to study and prepare for tests as well.
Absolutely.
You can find, speaking of the internet, you can find these tips by going to our website, WTXL.tv, just clicking into the Teen Talk section. Jane, thanks for joining us this morning.
It was fun.